Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Popular Unknown Paintball Live. And I hope too many of you didn't jump too much from that explosion. I'm getting told a lot of people jump from that explosion. And guess what? You're going to have to deal with it because I just love it. Lex makes some fine graphics, and I think that one's amazing. So before we get started, I want to make sure that everybody knows that on Paintball Media, if you swing by there, there's a link to their Patreon account. And Paintball Media, which is the Paintball Media magazine that I like to write for, they are the new Jeremy Somm documentary is out, and it's amazing. I believe to become a Patreon member for Paintball Media magazines, it's like $8. So definitely swing by there. I narrated the Jeremy Somm Avalanche Sniper incident documentary, so it's awesome. And I'm not saying that because I'm part of it, because I really enjoyed it. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. The next documentary coming, which I'm also narrating, by the way, the next documentary coming is all about Tim Montresor. It is going to be called TM40, Life to the Full. And if you've ever met Tim Montresor, if you've ever even heard of Tim Montresor, you know that that is just this is going to be amazing. I'm not looking forward to actually narrating it, because I think I'm going to cry a little bit. It's going to be hard to make because the dude was just awesome. But that is the next documentary. So that's that. Next thing, I just want to make sure I say a quick thank you to my sponsors and whatnot. Thank you to Valken for supporting this show. Thank you guys so much. Awesome. MacDev for supporting the I Remembered Foundation. Push for making sure that I'm always safe. Immortal Air, because let's face it, they're the best tanks that there are. Transfuse, because Steve, you make a great product. And again, I'm almost out. You got to send me somebody. Like, I need I need my fix. And make fruit punch. You heard it. All right. Got to give a shout out to Caesar with Ultra Silk. And as always, Ali Remembered Foundation. Yeah. When I say I like Tim Montresor, I really do. So that aside, let us get to the show. Oh, we got Steven saying, hey, we got Rob Walker saying, hey. I'm very excited about tonight's show. Like, super excited. When I started this podcast, basically 2 years ago, there are 5 people on the list that I wanted to talk to more than anybody else. And my guest tonight is one of those 5. I mean, I've got Bud Orr. I've got to talk to Chris Lasoya. I'm finally getting a chance to talk to Rich Telford. I've never met the man in person, but I have idolized him with reading the magazines back in the day, with all the teams he played for. I really loved all the articles that he wrote for all the various magazines. I always look for them because he never cut any corners. He was always straight and to the point, and his opinions were just brilliant. So if you like my writing in the magazines, you can thank Rich, because he's a big part of why I am who I am, whether he knows it or not. So I am so excited to talk to him. And then after that, he was the captain of Excessive, which that team was just absolutely amazing. I love that whole in your face mentality like Infamous has, and like Avalanche used to have. And yeah, I'm just a huge fan. I honestly think that Rich is probably one of the greatest team captains that's ever been. And for the record, he's actually in my green room and he can hear everything I'm saying. So, yeah, I just figured I'd get it out now so he doesn't have to go, stop it. Yeah, I'm not stopping. It's my show. I'm going to do what I want. So, all right. Enough for the intro. Let's get Rich on, because let's face it, you're not here for me. You're here for him. And let's have a good time. All right. Hey, Rich, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
You seem awfully quiet. Did I over grease the lily a little bit?
No, man. It was amazing. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, like I have to be honest. Obviously you're a busy guy. You have
not right now. I'm not busy at all. It's amazing.
Oh,
it's first time in my life where I haven't been doing anything, and I really like it.
That's awesome. Well, yeah. What are you doing to fill your time then?
Just hanging out with the family, working out a little bit. My wife and my kid and I just made dinner for my wife today, so that was fun. just, whatever we can. We hike a little bit, we work out a little bit, hang out with wife and kids, and that's about it.
Nice. Now, is your field open like on weekends?
Yep. Yeah. Just normal, like everything else.
How are you guys doing? How's the field doing with everything?
It's been really, really busy. I don't know how it's going up in Canada, but pretty much everyone down here has been super, super busy. When the shutdowns are real bad in the beginning, everyone shut down for 6 or 8 weeks. But after that, everyone kind of picked back up, and it's been doing pretty well. There's not a lot of big events going on in paintball right now, but paintball fields are doing really well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really good part of a bad situation.
All right. So somebody here said Rich Who. Now, they haven't allowed StreamYard to use their name, so I'm not quite sure who said that, but it is what it is. But it brings a good question of, when did you start paintball? How many world trophies you have? Like I've got like a bazillion questions, but when did you start? Because I remember, or Machine Gun Mike Baird, he literally called me like 30 minutes ago, 35 minutes, and he goes, I'm parking the truck. I'm finding a place to hide it, because Rich is not only a paintball friend, but he's one of my best friends.
Yeah, Mike is the best. One of the best guys in paintball for sure.
Right. Oh, it was speak of the devil. So he said that you were with Black Diamonds and stuff. And so when did you start?
So I'm not sure exactly when I started. Somewhere in the very early 90s.
Okay.
I played paintball maybe 2 or 3 times. I was teaching karate at the time. One of my students, I think, wanted to shoot me because I was punching him all the time. So we went out, rented guns with about 10 of us. We played. And, honestly, I had a blast. But we were competing every weekend at karate tournaments. So it wasn't really like something that was going to work out for me.
Right.
My best friend, Paul, kind of was into it a little bit more than I was. So he forced me to go down to the surplus store and look at paintball guns. And then the guy at the counter was like, oh, we heard about you guys. You guys went out and shot everybody with your rental guns. And so I took that as like, hey, we shouldn't play paintball anymore because we did well. And now people that are better than us are looking for us. Right. My buddy took it as like, hey, man, we need to get our own guns to get back out there. So we bought our Titmans, and I played a few more times, and then got lucky enough to get picked up by Black Sunday. And then from there went to Quick Max.
Okay.
And then from there to the San Jose Diamonds. And then from there to CP. And then from there to Ironman 2, and then to Bob Long's Ironman. Then with Joy Division.
You played with Joy?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, back with the old original guys. They were, we played against them in Toulouse. And this is the first time I really fell in love with Chris Soya too, because we were playing at Toulouse, and every time you shoot someone, you could tell because everybody would boo. There was 1,500 people in the stands just booing every time you shoot somebody. And except for you hear one guy running back and forth screaming, that was Chris Soya. So like you hear boo, boo, like I think I just shot someone. You hear Chris, like, yeah, that's a G for sure. But we knocked Joy Division out of the event, and we thought, the way that works over here is that means you're kind of going to be rivals for the rest of the time. Right. And they just came and drank by the net the whole rest of the event and just hung out with us, and we ended up winning the event and just becoming the best of friends and going back and playing with them every chance we got.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Good times back then. Then I played with Bobby's team, and then I played with the LA Ironman, and then we started Excessive, and then lately I've been lucky enough to play with Aftershock. So I've been around. Yeah, I've been very opportune.
You are still playing, right?
Yeah, every chance I get. It's kind of rough on the body now, so I don't practice anymore. So I don't take it very seriously. Anybody's like, "Hey, Rich, want to play a tournament?" I'm like, "Man, I definitely want to play a tournament if it's hanging out. If it's trying to win a tournament, probably not interested in that."
Right.
So I'm going down, I think, in 2 or 3 weeks to play a little 5-man, 10-man in Mexico with a bunch of friends.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Raul Ibarra's got an event down there in Cancun. We'll come down. We'll find a spot for you.
I can't. As much as I would love to, and even if you were paying my way, I can't.
Can't do it.
My prime minister just made it so that when I come back to Canada, I have to pay $2,000, $2,000 to $3,000 to be quarantined in this hovel of a hotel while they wait for COVID testing to happen. And then once that's done, then I still have to do a 2-week quarantine in my house. If that is assuming that I pass. If I don't pass, then I have to stay in this hovel for 2 whole weeks. Though they'll pay for the 2 weeks.
But sounds like it's better not to travel.
the first 3 days when I get back from Canada, currently, I am stuck in a hotel that I have to pay for myself, and I have to pay for security guards to guard me and the whole bit. So,
Wow.
as much as I would love to, and believe me, like during COVID, I went to World Cup, I went to Denver for the Ali Remembered Foundation. Like there was no stopping me. Like it's like, oh well, I have to do a 2-week quarantine when I get back to my house, and those sucked.
Yeah.
But
That's
I
not too
can't
bad.
afford $2 to $3 grand
No,
to
that's
sit
rough.
in a crap hotel where they deliver like these crappy, there's pictures going around now. There are these god awful sandwiches and a bottle of water, and you get like one of those per meal, and it's just like it's like an internment camp almost.
Well, maybe next year.
Maybe. Here's hoping.
Here's hoping.
So who are you going to be playing with in Mexico?
I don't know what the name of the team. I think it might be Black Sunday. I can't remember what they said on the name, but Rob Anderson's going down. A couple of the old Black Sunday guys. Al from Chicago. Taylor from Denver. Just a bunch of random guys that we all hang out and are all buddies through paintball.
That's awesome.
A couple of the old guys from Accessible. Chris Nielsen from Accessible. A couple of randoms. It'll be fun.
Right.
Yeah. None of us are taking it too seriously. I tried to get a couple of the Wild Dogs to come up, but they couldn't make it. But just have some. Basically, it's a 2-day tournament. We're going for like 5 or 6 days, just to hang out at the resort and shoot each other on the weekend.
So if you had to pick, and I know this is an unfair question, but I don't care.
I don't care about unfair questions.
If you had to pick your favorite team that you played on, what would that be?
Probably the Ironman. Yeah.
Now that was pre the Dave Youngblood split or after?
Either one of the two Ironman squads, either Bob Long's Ironman or the LA Ironman. From when I was on Bob Long's squad, it was different. I was kind of coming up, and I was learning a lot from Bob and trying to figure out what to do and what not to do. And luckily, Bob was there to help me through the way and teach me a lot of stuff. But no responsibility, which is nice. And in the beginning with the LA Ironman, no responsibility, which is nice. Like a lot of people, think I'm a pretty good captain. I would much rather be the second guy. Like Shane Pastana was the best captain. Because he'd come up to you and say, hey, I need you to go to their 40 and you're probably going to get destroyed, but that's the game plan. And then, Davey would come over and be like, Rich, Shane wants me to go to the 40. And I'd be like, yeah, you got to go to the 40, bro. He'd be like, all right, man, I'll go do it. But, Shane was the good guy. I was the bad guy. That worked out pretty well. When Shane left, it was just the bad guy. So it wasn't quite as productive.
I got to talk to Shane then, because if you think because as far as I'm concerned, my two top captains would be you and Bob Long, because just what you guys were able to accomplish and how you played during that time period. Like, I mean, every phase of paintball's had like a different skill set, if you will, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So if to be fair, in the time periods, like I love how you just created Excessive with everything that was going on. And all I know, by the way, is what I read in magazines. So I'm sure that is the watered down version of what really happened. Yeah,
it was a crazy time for sure. A group of us had kind of come up together playing in California. Some of the guys on the Southern California Ironman team, while I was still on the Northern California Ironman team. Then we all got together to play for the Southern California Ironman team. And, grew some really close bonds. And then some of those guys kind of weren't going the direction that Dai wanted them to go.
Right.
And so Dai kind of wanted those guys out of the equation. And then it, put us in a situation where we could either stay together and form a new team or split up and, do our own separate thing. And I guess we all decided to stay together and form a new team.
That's awesome. Well, I just, from my perspective, when I was reading about it, it was like everything was going up. Things were going in different directions and paintball politics were happening, and you and a tight group of guys just went, you know what, chuck you all, we are going to just form together and charge. And I was just like, it was definitely, you could go the corporate way, the easy way, the guaranteed money. But when you take guaranteed money, you also have someone telling you what to do. Right. And to me, I'm okay with someone telling me what to do as long as they're in there with me. As long as they're seeing the same things I'm seeing, going through the same things I'm going through, then I'd value that. But if you're on the outside telling us what to do, that's really hard for me to swallow because I don't feel like you have the same insight that we do. Right. So I understand that if you write the check, you make those decisions. But to me, that only works if you're all in. All right. So we got a quick question. Brian asked if you're still working for GI Sports.
Unfortunately, I'm not. I was working for GI Sports first for Key Sports, and then when GI bought Key for GI, it was a wonderful experience. I really enjoyed going to events and doing stuff for them. They let me go last September, but then hired me back as on a contract to work for events for them. But when the events stopped, that pretty much stopped as well. So I've been working for Go Sports here and there, but kind of sporadically, because obviously there hasn't been a lot of events going on yet.
Right. Yeah, I enjoy watching you commentary, you and Matty Marshall. Like,
yeah, it's fun. It's challenging, but it's fun.
Like, I have to say that, and this is from a guy that narrates stuff and does a podcast, but I have to say Matty Marshall's probably got the greatest voice.
Amazing. Yeah.
In paintball, but I also
his son even has a good voice.
Pardon?
His son even has a good voice. He's only like 4 months old. He's booming like, Dad, give me a bottle.
That's awesome. Oh, and we got Tracy Perez saying hi, boys. So hey, Tracy, glad to know you're feeling a bit better. I don't know if did you heard about everything that's going on with her, right? Well, her operation went fantastic, or so I'm told by her the other day. So that's awesome. And we've got Sean just chiming in really quick. He's saying just in time. Sean, by the way, is a big fan here from Canada as well, and he actually drives trucks. So he was on my case saying, "Can you put it off a little bit so that I can park the truck so I don't miss anything?"
How you doing, Sean? Nice to meet you, brother.
So, and Tracy's awesome hearing him and Marty. So that's awesome. So all right, this is going to sound kind of geeky, but when you started designing the excessive jerseys and stuff, was it you that designed, or did you guys hire people out? Because those were some of the coolest jerseys in paintball history, in my personal opinion.
We actually got lucky because we went through 4 or 5 different companies, and every time we went to a new designer, they came up with something that I was like, hey man, I didn't think I was gonna like this, but I love this. What do you guys think? And they're like, yep, let's do it. So yeah, we just got lucky and went from kind of one to another, and they were all on point.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I look at some of those old jerseys and how good they look compared to some of the new jerseys. I was like, man, I don't understand. Like, we were doing really a lot better like 15 years ago.
Right? Like, but I mean, it was just so cool because excessive, it's so simple, and it's so to the point, and then you had the camo, and then you had the yellow striping. Like, it was just bang on. Like,
yeah, and I still see our pants like all the time at events.
Yeah,
like, they look like they're brand new. I'm like, hey, those pants are like 20 years old. That's amazing.
So how excited were you with excessive when you guys landed the Planet Eclipse sponsorship and the brand new egos? Because that changed paintball.
Not very excited. I mean,
really?
It was a tough deal because I kind of had to go into it sight unseen, just trusting those guys because they wouldn't let us know they were coming out with a new marker. That was the kind of word on the street.
Right.
And then we got them right before the event, kind of in pieces and boxes. We got them all together. And Pomona, the first event, was the pouring rain event in Pomona. I don't know if you remember. And all the grips that they had for them, they hadn't made new Eclipse grips. They had the old Cocker grips that had the channel in there so the wire could go down from the eyes.
Okay, yeah.
A hole in the top of the grip that just funneled all the water directly into the board. So we played down 2 or 3 guns every point in that event. I think we got like 3rd or 4th, but it was not easy because we were down guns every single point. So in the beginning, it was very, very challenging, but we ended up working things out, and it's a great company. And I haven't worked with a better group of guys altogether. A lot of respect for those guys, and a lot of respect for the guns that they make. I've been sponsored by a lot of different companies over time, but Eclipses does a really good job at making paintball guns.
Yeah, they do. And super nice guys too. Like I've had Leds on the podcast, and he was so excited, and we talked for like 2 hours. We could have talked for 4 hours total. Like he's just
unless he's
awesome.
Dead man walking you.
I beg your pardon?
I said unless he's dead man walking you. That's the only time he's not amazing.
Yeah, but you see that doesn't count. Anything that happens on the field,
it counts. It counts. It's all counted up. Trust me.
That's one thing. When you're off the field, though,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Good people for sure.
Like it's I'm sorry. I don't what people do on the field unless it's like super blatant, like something just completely uncalled for.
Jeremy Stahl.
Yeah, and he paid for that.
Unfortunately, he did. Yeah,
And
he paid the price for a lot of people.
he did. And to I shouldn't say to be fair, because all I can think of is Letterkenny, to be fair. From what I've been told, because I was involved with the making of the narration and I've talked to a lot of people, like don't get me wrong, it's sorry, I'm having a brain freeze. John Amadeus baby.
Yeah.
But just because my name was attached to it, I've had a lot of people reach out to me, and I've heard, and I can't say names because there's no proof and I don't want to get into it, but I've heard that Jeremy Son was actually the only person that was ever caught. There were other people trying and doing as well, but because he was caught, he was it.
Yeah, he got caught red-handed. Tough to get away from that.
Did you see the documentary?
I did not. I watched him run around in the woods with Pete though.
Okay. What was that like?
It was like, honestly, we all do crazy shit all the time. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't like it's a big deal, but it's only one of many, many big deals. Like Bruno's got a couple big, everyone's got a couple big deals that either you got caught or you didn't get caught, or they made a big deal out of, or nobody made a big deal out of.
Right. Well, if you get the chance, you should definitely check out the documentary.
I will at some point. I don't want to tell a lot of stuff, but I will at some point.
Well, it's like $8 and it's just over an hour long. It's like an hour and a half long. And they don't just talk about that one situation. They talk about a lot of the more famous cheating that happened in pro paintball, like game fixing and like when after what was it? Was it Aftershock and the Ironman teamed up to try to keep UK Predators out of the thing in Masters at John Bronze, stuff like that. Like it's really all inclusive, and they basically, and Jeremy actually completely admits to what he did and who knew and whatnot, but he explained why he did it and why he got caught. So it's really quite an interesting show. So
he
if you
got
get
caught
the chance,
because he shot him 5 or 10 times each instead of once or twice, and he got caught because he had bleached blonde hair.
Well, I'm sure that is all true.
You can see the dudes when they get shot. Like, it wasn't like you got dinked on the break and ref holds you and you're like looking at your pack. They're like looking at themselves, looking at the bushes, looking at themselves, looking at the bushes. They're like, oh, what's going on? And they're not walking up with 1 or 2 hits. They've got like 10 hits on their head, 5 hits in their pack. He just blew them away.
So, Anthony basically says, what are you shooting now?
I shoot a Shock Tech autococker built by hand by my friend Danny Love.
He's such a cool guy.
He's a great guy, yeah. And then I've got to get it to Caesar to get all lubed up, but yeah, it shoots amazing. I love that whip. Every time I pull it out, someone tries to buy it, I'm like, I can't sell it. I'm sorry. Like, he made it for me. I don't think I can get rid of it. But yeah, it shoots amazing. I have what else do I have? I have a Vanquish. I shoot a little bit, and I have my old Ironman cocker. And that's about it.
So those are the only markers you have left?
Yeah.
I mean, other than the whole fact that you've got an entire field of rentals.
yeah. I don't hold on to. I don't really hold on to old guns. They just, I'd rather either give it to a kid that wants to play paintball or sell it to somebody who wants it more than me.
I can understand that because I've probably owned a few hundred paintball guns since 1989.
Right.
But there are some that I just get really attached to.
I have my Ironman cocker that B&M Pro Shop built me when I started for the LA Ironman, and that's probably the only gun I've never sold. I had a lot of sentimental value to that one. I sold one for 5 G's. I got one of those Eclipse SLs a little early, was playing with it up in LA, and some rich kid had to have it. And I was like, sorry, I can't sell it to you. It's a prototype. Call back. He's like, I'll give you $5,000. I called up. I'm like, hey, here's the thing. I need to sell this gun. No. He's going to give me $5,000. Yep. Cool. Thanks, man. Sold that whip.
That's awesome. Oh, well, yeah, I have my 97 autococker that I bought new. And
center feed or side feed?
Side feed.
Okay.
because 97, like
Yeah.
STOs were just starting to come in, and
I'm not really good with timelines.
Right.
Like I had an automag and an autococker. I don't know which one I had first or which one, like I have no idea what the dates are and that stuff. I'm terrible with that.
Well, I've changed it so much that the only thing stock on it is the back block. Like my dad handcrafted, my late father handcrafted teak wood grips for it and whatnot.
Wow.
Like
Nice.
it's just it looks plain, but it's all period correct from the late 90s, and I'm never selling that. And that's
Very
hands
cool.
down my favorite gun
ever.
You know, it just is. I've got Paul Darnborough's old cocker, and he played for Constant Pursuit with it. It's a Jeff Orr custom. The whole thing's like bubble wrap, black, orange. Like it's just. And then and then I've got a new one. I've got one of the new, or I guess it's not an amp shocker, but it's the XLS. But it's one of Caesar's 15 ultra shockers that he made.
Nice.
That were sort of dedicated to Tim Montresor. That was given to me by a fan, if you can believe that. Like awesome. That blew me away, and that gun's never leaving. Actually, when I was at World Cup this year, I took the case because it was given to me, so I used it. But I saw so many people to sign it.
Oh, nice.
So I guess you can say I'm a little bit of a fanboy, but it is what it is. I get excited.
Yeah, man.
So is there any of the guns that you've sold that you miss?
Yeah, so when we first got the matrices, they shot really, really well, but they didn't have an eye.
Right.
So I figured out how to put an eye in them, and then we made some of the limited run Ironman matrices.
Right.
And I would have liked to have kept one of those just because it took me a while to figure out how to do that and all the machining and stuff. But other than that, not really. My Ironman cocker, that matrix, that's about maybe my first Ego, or maybe one of the first ones that we did for him, like the 205 or 26 or something like that.
But there's nothing that has super sentimental value. It's like, I wish I kept that.
Nah, to me, it's like, if you're not playing with it, then what's the point,
No wall hangers.
Yeah, my green auto, my Ironman cocker is the only one, like, I don't really like to take it out because if somebody stole it or something, I would be upset. But, like, if I broke it in half playing with it, I wouldn't really care, like, because, it's a gun, that's what it's for.
Right.
Then I would probably hang it up on the wall. But, yeah, like, I don't want to have, like, 5 or 10, 15 guns. Like, some of my buddies have 30 or 40 guns. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what's the point? You can't play with them all. It's like masturbation. Like, pick 1 or 2 that work well, and then if they break, you have a backup. Move on. Unless if some technology comes out that's significantly different and like change the game, like going from a cocker to an angel or something like that, I'd be like, oh, I got to go get one of those. But I haven't seen that happen in a long time.
Well, I had to ask because I saw that Greg Hastings, he's actually looking for his old Angel Cobra, which apparently had Red's gear logo on it in chrome and stuff, and so he was out there looking for it. And I know a lot of people are wishing they had this gun back or that gun back.
Yeah, sentimental reasons. Yeah, I was lucky. The one gun I probably would have wanted to hold on to was the green autococker, and I never got rid of it. Back then when I stopped using it, cockers weren't worth anything.
No, so that's true.
So I was like, it shoots good. I'll just throw it in the bag, start shooting an Angel or a Timmy or whatever, and then didn't think about it. And then like 10 years later, start playing with it again, and they're like, oh, is that a new gun? I'm like, no, this thing's really, really old.
Well, I know that now with your Shock Tech cocker, is it got the gunfighter frame?
Yeah.
Single trigger, double trigger?
Single.
Is gunfighter only single?
I have no idea. I don't know that much about him. I know that I try not to shoot too fast with my cockers because I don't like to skip a stroke or kind of get off my rhythm. And with that gun, it constantly makes me shoot faster. Like I start shooting as soon as I get in a good rhythm. I'm like, oh, slow down, Rich. Okay. Like it's the only gun I've ever shot cocker wise that makes like significantly feels better. Cool. I'm not a real I don't like the hinge triggers. I don't like the double finger triggers. But just a single finger that shoots fast and crisp is very nice.
Awesome. So and you're happy with it?
Yeah, it's amazing. I've probably had it for 2 years, and I've probably played 4 or 5 events with it, and it's just flawless.
Now, do you play just for fun, like rec games and stuff?
Yeah. Little tournaments here and there. Like we do one in Mexico every year. If Dave Baines has an event at his field, or if Corey Field has an event at his field, and it's 7-man or 10-man mechanical, I'll go play because I love those guys. I want to support them as much as I can, and it's relatively local. And then if Shock's playing and they need a body and I can get there, then I play with Shock whenever I can. But I'm not driven to go play tournaments. I'm not trying to win any tournaments. I'm not trying to win any world championships. I'm just trying to have fun with my friends, shoot a few people, and enjoy myself.
That was me at World Cup. There was myself, there was Andy, and there was Puck, and we got into the 3-man at World Cup under the Ali Remembered Foundation. We didn't win a single game, and we didn't care. It was the first time I actually got to play at World Cup.
Very cool.
And
man.
so it was just all about the experience.
Yeah,
and,
very cool.
Like,
yeah, I didn't. We took it way too seriously when we played. Like, I came from competing in martial arts every weekend. My first real camp I was at was with Bobby, and Bobby worked us really hard and instilled really hard work ethic in us. And that, if you left the event and you worked harder than everybody else and you lost, at least you knew that you put everything in. So I kind of carried that through with the LA Ironman and with it excessive, and just didn't stop to have as much fun as we probably could have because we were so driven. So
right.
now when we're doing it, we're certainly trying to have a good time and enjoy ourselves. Winning's nice, but not if you're not enjoying yourself.
Exactly. Well, I'm too fat, too old, and too slow to.
I'm all those things too. That's perfect.
Oh, Fred Schultz says, "What up?"
Oh, Fred, one of my favorite captains ever. I love that guy. Amazing paintball player and really good paintball ambassador.
He really is. Him and I are working together on Stronghold, right?
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. We started a little bit of a company. Our first T-shirts come out hopefully Friday.
Well, I hope for nothing but good things from you guys.
Well, thank you. So, if you had to pick is there any new guns that you wanted to try? Like, is there anything that's new coming out? I mean, I'm sure you love the Shock Tech autocockers, and gotta be honest with you, I'm envious. I want to try one, but
yeah. Well, if you see me at an event, grab me, and you can shoot mine. I'd like to shoot the new Field 1 gun, the one the Dynasty guys are shooting.
It's a wicked.
They won World Cup with it, and it's interesting for me. So when I worked at GI, obviously I kind of got the other side of things, right? I always came up in the industry on the other side, so I got the inside the company view, and they released some products that were really good products, but it didn't seem like they had a lot of paintball input from it, and that was kind of surprising to me. So it's interesting to me to see if Dynasty, a team of paintball players, can design a product and come out with something better, something different than non-paintball engineer type guys.
Well, I have shot it, and I'll tell you, it really took a lot away. I shouldn't say it took a lot away. It really followed suit with the way Bob Long had designed his guns prior to. So it really takes a lot of its roots from that. I normally like a very flat trigger, and it has like a really scooped double trigger.
Yeah.
But because of how I learned how to shoot shooting autocockers. That was my main gun for so long. I tend to shoot a lot with my middle finger, right? Which I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
So the way the trigger's set up, it has a very 45-ish feel to the frame, to the trigger frame, and then that trigger, as weird as it looks, sits right where I want it for my middle finger. Oh man, dude. Once you get a chance to try it, you're gonna absolutely love it. The only thing I didn't like about it is the front grip has a bit of a bevel to it. So when I grab it, the point gets on the palm of my hand.
Okay.
And it just that part I don't like so much, but
right.
It's one of those things you just get used to. But the
file it down, or
I don't think you can. But I
hate that when I get a new gun and there's like 4 or 5 different sharp points on it. So I'm switching back and I'm like, how do I get all these cuts on my hands? I'm like, give me a file.
It's not so much that it's sharp. It's just that you feel it like it could be sharp. It's not going to cut you or anything. Like, I love the gun, but it just, I don't know. It just feels like the point seems to sit right on my palm, and it makes it a little uncomfortable in that. But the actual frame and the trigger and everything else, it's something I just have to get used to.
Yeah, I knew Danny Love and I would get along when he gave me a brand new gun, and just machined it, and it was cutting up the top of my hand. And I was like, hey, buddy, I can't play with this thing, man. It's just chopping up my hand. I'm going to grab something else. He's like, just grab a file. I'm like, you don't mind? It's cool. I'm like, yeah, cool. So I'm just filing this $2,000 gun, and somebody walks like, what are you doing, bro? I'm like, it's sharp. I'm going to file it down. It's coming. Dude, Danny is going to flip out. And I was like, he said it was okay, bro. I'm just filing the gun now. Like, I don't want to get cut. Everybody else was a little bit more concerned than we were, but yeah.
All right, so we got Sean saying that's what it's all about. Got to keep the game what it is. And then somebody says, hey, looks like I'm late to the show. Sorry, bud, but it's always available on YouTube, so you can always catch it later. Ben Garcia says he doesn't think you can short stroke a gunfighter. Can you short stroke a gunfighter? Have you done it?
What I tend to do is when this last ball or two in the stack, for some reason, there's not enough down pressure, and I clip a ball. So it's only right at the end of the hopper when the hopper's all the way empty and there's not enough down pressure. I mean, it's only happened 2 or 3 times, but those are the 2 or 3 times, and obviously it significantly changed the outcome of your performance during that game. So I try to avoid it as much as possible.
Keep reloading.
That's right. Keep those bullets in there.
Speaking of reloading, have you tried Kenneth Hefferly's new pack, the Zodiac pack?
No.
All right. So if you get when next time you guys are out, or next time you're out playing at a tournament, swing by Master Blasters group camp, because they all rock these Zodiac packs, but they've got a revolutionary flap on them. So you know how most packs either have the suspension, so you just grab the pod and pull it out, and there's nothing holding it up; it's just tight in, or there's the Velcro flap.
Yep.
Well, these actually have an elastic that comes around the bottom. So you can actually put your thumb number, you flip it, and it drops out into your hand, but it's completely silent.
Nice.
It's awesome. And then it's got suspenders as well, so you can just load these packs up.
Nice.
And it all just sits right where you want it to.
Yeah, I want to check out that new carbon pack too. I've heard that's pretty. Todd Adams was saying it's pretty comfy
with the way it all compresses.
Yeah,
that thing's wild. I haven't used it in a game, but I did try it on.
It looked good. Just like everything else, you got to actually shoot the gun or play with it for yourself to see if you like it. I've shot one with one guns, but I haven't played with one. So it's like, yeah, I think it shoots good, but like you got to play with it for 2 or 3 days before you're like, oh yeah, this shoots where I wanted to shoot when I needed to shoot there.
Yeah, no. Well, if you get the chance, definitely try one of the Zodiac packs. My biggest concern with the Zodiac pack was that I was scared that when you pulled the pod out, you wouldn't be able to put it back in like rec play, and
right.
Because you know how annoying that is.
Yeah.
You're so used to just tossing the pods, but you don't want to toss your pods, right?
Do you remember when pods became valuable?
Like $2-3 kind of thing, or?
Yeah, I just don't remember. I don't remember pods. I mean, I probably bought 5 or 6 pods the first time I, played paintball, bought my Tipman. But after that, pods were just always pods. It was never like a big deal. And then like 5 or 6 years ago, all of a sudden you got to an event. It was like, it's $300 for pods. And then from then on, this is like everybody, you can't, you go to a field, everyone's picking up their pods. You go to the event, everyone's stealing pods from each other. Like, I don't remember when pods started costing money, but I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I think it's silly. Now, pods today are definitely both a lot better and a lot worse than they used to be.
Yeah.
Like, at least now they're all one piece, and you don't have the caps like just completely flying off.
Yeah. Back when I played with Bob Long, we had Kevin Jones played with us, and he used to use Pringles cans. You go to Target or whatever, buy Pringles, dump them all out or eat them, and then just put like 400 paintballs in one can.
Yeah, we use Tupperware.
There you go.
I started playing in '89. So the first gun I bought was a Brass Eagle Nightmare Competition short barrel, and it had the little 45 round box on it.
Nice.
So I cut all the tabs out, and I put a scope cap on it, so you could just pop it and the lid would open up, so it didn't get rain in it.
Very high tech.
Extremely. So what is your favorite style of play since you've been playing since the early 90s? So you started, I'm assuming, with pumps and maybe a little bit of the semi-autos. Obviously you weren't playing with 12 grams, although I'm sure you have at one point or another.
Yeah. I mean, I think gun-wise, I take the guns out of it, right? Because as long as everyone else is shooting guns equal, has the same kind of gun that equalizes out.
Right.
The easiest form of playing paintball, obviously, is tournament paintball, objective paintball, where everybody has the exact same set out in front of them. All the bunkers are mirrored.
Right.
I honestly, I think woods ball is I can tell you, I've never been afraid on an airball field, but walking around the fields of Mexico with some kid out there hunting you down with a Tipman is really scary. So woods ball is pretty tough and pretty scary.
See, I don't have a problem with that. Like I
tell you, like when I play tournament paintball, I see where everybody is. I know everything that's going on. I'm very calm. I'm very cool. I'm collected. You put me in a big jungle and I can't see anything, and just random noises are going everywhere. My brain just doesn't work that way. I process too fast and just flip right out. I was playing in Mexico 2 or 3 years ago when they had the heavy gunner playing, and my buddy Sean Lane was playing. His gun was shooting like 35 balls a second. And we were doing a 1-1-3. So I was on one tape. He was in the middle with his machine gun, and then the other 3 guys were on the other tape. And he started shooting his machine gun like 30 feet away from me, and it scared me so bad. I got up and just ran down the field and just basically bunkered the guy in front of me and went and turned the corner. Not because I was supposed to, but just because I was afraid Sean was going to shoot me. That would never happen in an airball field or hyperball field where I could see what was going on.
See, I have the exact opposite. Like when I played World Cup was the first time I actually got behind like really big bunkers. I shouldn't say first time. First time I played was Chicago 2 years ago with Destiny Midwest. But I got sent into a grinder bunker, so I think I only made the bunker twice without getting just completely smoked.
Obliterated.
Pardon?
Obliterated.
Yeah, and I felt so bad. Like game after game, I was going for this bunker, and I just kept getting shot out, and I wasn't lasting like 5 seconds, and I thought I was horrible. Then I watched the pros play, and every pro that went to it just got mowed because it was a key bunker, and you just can't let anybody have it, right?
Someone's got to go.
Yeah. So, but when I was playing at World Cup, the bunkers were so large, and I was playing D side. The bunkers were so large that I couldn't really feel what was going on. And I'm used to being able to see like maybe an elbow or something in woods ball. Right. Most of the time when I play up here in Canada, I'm usually mostly playing rec ball these days, and I'm better in the woods than I'm on that field.
Yeah, so the woods and the field and the airball fields are different, right? So in the woods balls, you're looking for those guys, you're looking for the holes, you're looking for the elbows, and you're looking for the weak spots in those bunkers. And in airball, you're looking for the gaps between the bunkers, right? If the guy's in the bunker, you don't really want to mess with them too much. You want to try to catch him gapping from one bunker to the other bunker. It's just different, you know. Like if you played more airball, you'd get more comfortable because you can see more, hear more, and you can tell what's going on. Very rarely do you step on somebody in an airball field. Very rarely does somebody walk up behind you with, shooting 50 balls a second at 350 on an airball field.
Right. So what are you looking forward to playing next? I mean, obviously you're going to Mexico, but is there any big games that are happening or tournaments? When I say big game, main events.
Tim's event. Probably go to that.
ICC?
Yeah, ICC. Other than that, whatever comes up, man. To me, it's like as long as it's a good group of guys that I like and I respect, and we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna go play. I don't have to miss any time for practices and stuff like that, so I can just show up, have fun, and enjoy myself. It's a whole different feel. It took me 5 years to be able to do that. I played the same tournament we're talking about 5 years ago with my friend Rob Anderson, who was the captain of my first paintball team, and again, we were doing the 1-1-3 breakout, right? And all I need to do as the person on my tape, if I know the information correctly, is just to stay alive because it's just me over there. So I asked Rob the first game, hey, man, when you go over there to the right tape and you see the flag is up or down, just communicate that to me so I can play accordingly. He doesn't, so I come over and talk to him. Hey, next game, when you go out there, if you could see whether the flag was up or down and just let me know, that'd be great because I could, figure out how to play. I do this calmly and relax for 5 games. The 6th game, I'm just dropping F-bombs, screaming at him, spitting at him. I just want to choke him to death. And I was like, man, why are you doing this, Rich? Why are you at this event out in the middle of nowhere playing with a bunch of guys just for fun? Nobody cares whether you win or lose. Like, this is ridiculous. But understanding that, it still took me about 5 years to be able to play paintball and just have fun and not be too competitive. You obviously you want to be competitive. You want to shoot people. You don't want to get shot. You want people taking advantage of you, but not like it's life or death or, you're going to kill somebody over it. And so that's my goal for the next couple of years is to try to, just stay at that level where I'm enjoying myself, having a good time.
That was a big part. Like there's many reasons. That was a big part why I walked away from paintball for a little bit, like the early 2000s, just because, well, as you well know, the bunkers back then, they were getting they started to get really small. The kids on the teams were like in early high school.
Yeah, smaller, faster, better.
Well, I don't know about better, but it's definitely smaller and faster.
I think all that was because the guys that were kind of ahead of us all retired and started running those companies and just wanted to be entertained. They wanted fast little dudes to run around and assassinate each other at 25 balls a second while they coached from the sidelines because that fed their egos and kept them involved in the game that had, kind of passed them up.
Right. But yeah, I just had to take a break from it. And then when I went out to play rec ball, it was no fun because you'd go out and you just mow everybody down because you're expecting them to play at the same level.
Right.
But it's so nice to be able to play now and just for the fun of it.
Yeah, I did. We went and played airsoft. One of my friends that used to play paintball that stopped. It's funny. He's a fighter. He fights all the time,
Right.
and he never gets hurt. But anytime he plays paintball, he gets hurt. So he stopped playing paintball so he doesn't get hurt. But he wanted to play, and he didn't want to get hurt, so we went and played airsoft. And it was a lot of fun. But it was just like you said, just murdering people. You're like, are these guys even trying? Like, I'm just pointing my gun and shooting. They're trying to run down the barrel. It's ridiculous.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just what were you thinking?
I went out to try to play I went to try to play airsoft about 3 years ago, because I have a gun and I was given some gear and stuff, and I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. I mean, what's wrong with going out, being with your friends in the woods, chasing each other, and just being kids, right?
Yeah, having fun.
I couldn't get into it. Like,
yeah,
the sheer volume of posing drove me insane.
So we were playing indoors, so it was a little bit better because there was a lot of action. But yeah, I understand what you're talking about.
And I own real firearms, and that's and I'm from Canada and I own real firearms. And
I'm from California and I own real firearms.
Yes, and that's one of the reasons why I idolize you, brother.
I'm carrying right now.
But my point is they'd start talking, well, this will do this and this will do that, and I'm just sort of like, I've shot all of those and you're all full of crap.
The one thing I did learn from airsoft, though, is in the movies, when you have a pistol and the other guy has a rifle and the pistol does okay against the rifle, that doesn't happen in real life.
No.
Yeah, a couple times the batteries ran out in my rifle, so I pulled the pistol out, and man, it's so much harder with the pistol against other rifles. Forget about it.
I have a good friend, and you're welcome to use this, and he insists that pistols are what you use to fight your way to a real weapon.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, to get to your rifle. Yeah, use your pistol to get to your rifle or to take his.
That's all it's there for. Pistol is only there to get you to a real weapon to fight with.
I agree, man.
So, I mean, I'm sure it's fine when you're like clearing rooms and stuff because you have lefts in your way and you're only shooting at stuff that's like 5-10 feet away. So
like I said, in 5 or 10 feet it's great, but any kind of distance, any 40 or 50 feet, or trying to, like, a guy came out of a window and I was in a hallway and I put a couple rounds into the window and he put like 80 rounds in through the hallway, and I was just like, yeah, you're right, you got me, no problem. I'm out of here.
Okay, we got a question here. It says, what are your thoughts on the rate of fire cap in today's paintball?
I just had this discussion last week when I was doing some commentating in Florida for Ghost Sports for that exhibition match.
Right.
And one of the guys' points was that we should have all the divisional players move their guns back up to 15 balls a second because the manufacturer would make more money on the paint sales. But then obviously more people wouldn't be able to play because it would cost more to do so. I don't know, man. I think the rate of fire is fine. I mean, 10, 11, 12, whatever it is, I don't think it really changes the game that much. 10 is fast enough and not too fast that you can't still make the corners occasionally. I mean, it was fun when it was 25 balls a second. It was fun when it was uncapped, but I don't think it was as good for the sport of paintball. I think keeping the price down low by regulating the how fast the guns shoot helps a little bit. I think, though, that they don't really do a lot to make sure no one's cheating anymore. Everyone's just kind of on their best behaviors. So I think maybe they could tighten that up a little bit better. But balls per second, I think 10, 11 is fine, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that the rate of fire being slowed down is good for a few reasons. First and foremost, safety. Like, you and I have both been on the receiving end of bonus balls, and they suck, especially at point blank range. There's no reason why I need to get hit 30 times as opposed to 15 times. And when you get competitive people and they get frustrated, aggression happens, right? Like, it's just, that's just a given. And second of all, I don't really see what the point is of having all that extra paint in the air. Like, all it does is, yes, you can hold a lane better, but you don't have the same kind of accuracy, and you burn through what paint you have that much faster. Now, I mean, new modern air systems are fantastic. I know that, I believe my new Ultra Shocker, it'll go through like 8 pods plus a loader. So that's amazing.
On a 68?
On a 68.
That's great.
you know, and that's because it was Caesarized or the Ultra Silk.
I used to have to mix CO2 and nitrogen.
Yeah,
Getting
the
that bullet out of
cocktail,
my-
baby.
That's right.
We won't
Boom,
talk about
boom,
that,
boom.
though. Pardon?
I said boom, boom.
Is that what you guys called it? Up here, we just called it the cocktail.
Cocktail, yeah. You guys learned from the All-Americans?
I don't know where we learned it.
Yeah, I busted him doing it one day. I was like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, "Oh shit, Rich is here." I'm like, "Hey, this is cool, guys. Let me see."
I can neither confirm nor deny where I learned how to do that.
When we first started shooting those matrices, they were such gas hogs, and I was shooting 14, 15 pods a game. So I just kept getting a bigger and bigger tank, and it just wasn't, the tank was so big, I could barely gunfight. And then I figured out that if I mixed the nitrogen and the CO2, I didn't have to have a big tank anymore, and that was amazing.
Right. A lot of people are saying that you're the best backman that's ever played. What do you think
one
about
of the
that?
taller backmen ever played. Yeah, I was taller.
You might have been taller, but a lot of people are saying you're the more talented.
I was very, very lucky to have a very, very long career, and I played against a lot of really, really good competitive paintball players, so I was able to be pretty sharp for a long time. But it's at the top. It's all the same, man. Everybody's really, really, really good, and everyone's either peaking or not peaking, and everyone's either lucky or unlucky. So there's only so much you can control out there when you're doing your grind. It was really nice for some people to think that I was a good back guy, but it's pretty much everybody's the same at that top level. Everyone's good. Everyone just has some times when they shine and some times when they don't shine.
So I know you just answered my question, but I'm gonna change it a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though everybody's really good, who would you say your favorite 5 players are that you respect, whether you love them or hate them? Who are the 5 that you respect the most skill-wise?
Really hard for me to do that because so many of my friends are so talented at paintball.
Right. I know it's hard, but I'm asking you to do it anyway.
Oliver play, it was always entertaining, and watching him kind of grow up from a 13, 14-year-old kid up to an amazing adult. I always enjoyed watching John Richardson play. Just very smooth, very moves unbelievably well. Some of the new guys are amazing as well. I mean, Ryan Greenspan's unbelievable. There's just a lot of really, really talented guys out there. Nicky Cuba,
yes,
probably
T-Rex.
the most passionate guy I've ever played with, and just one of the best, just overall human beings. Just a really, really good person. I love playing Matt Marshall, man. Like him and I would have a long, drawn-out conversation in the middle of games sometimes, just to try to kill some time. When there was just 2 or 3 of us left, and not very many people can do that in those tough situations like that. So I've been very, very blessed to play with a lot of really, really good players. So it's super tough.
So I have to ask, what kind of conversation you're talking about? It's like where you just like popping out. It's like, what did you have you eaten yet? Like, have you tried the chili dogs? Like, what did you guys talk about conversation wise?
Are you seriously going to try to miss practice next weekend? Like, I know he's getting married, but obviously team is more important than your buddy getting married, or whatever we were talking about before the game that didn't get finished, or whatever we were talking about the night before that didn't get finished. Games are 25 minutes long, so you had to do something to entertain yourself.
That's awesome. I never played 10-man. I've never played 10-man in my life. I wish I had. I would like to try. I almost played 10-man at ICC. I'll get back to that in a moment. Pardon?
Lots of targets.
Yeah, but because I lived up here in Canada, there wasn't a lot of 10-man up here, so we tended to mostly play 5-man. So I'm not used to a game going more than 5 minutes.
Yeah. It was tough. It was one of the things I was glad they transitioned. That they started shortening the time of the games up more and more and more. Because even like I think we used to play maybe a 15-minute 5-man game. I remember a game. It was I was playing for Image. We were playing against Avalanche. We both won our first 2 games. So whoever won the next game was going to get first place. I think it was Portugal. And I was in a lay down can trying to keep Todd from pushing up the tape and John. And man, I was cramping up so bad. And I was like, this game just will not end, man. Like, they shoot one, we shoot one. So we were even bodies. We were up another, then we got up a body. So we were just locking it down and trying to keep them from coming. Then they finally pushed. But man, the game felt like it lasted 4 or 5 hours. Both of my legs were blown out. My back was blown out. It was rough. Long games, no bueno.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore. I barely made it all 8 games in at World Cup, but we were supposed to have a 5-man roster for our 3-man team, and 2 guys just couldn't because other commitments, and so I had to play every single game, and it was just like
nope.
the last game was the official came up to us and said, well, listen, I got good news and bad news for you. Bad news is you lost horribly. Good news is the people you were playing weren't supposed to be the ones playing, so you have to play it again. And we went, nah, we forfeit.
I feel like that's bad news and bad news. Like double bad news.
Andy just looked at me, and I just sort of rolled my eyes again. He goes, yep, we forfeit.
We're
just
out. We're
let
out.
them have it. We got stuff to do.
Yeah, like that Mexico tournament, we've got like 14 or 15 on the roster. And like, should we bring anybody else? I'm like, bring as many as you can. I'm like, because no telling who won't show up and who won't want to play and who will twist an ankle.
I was supposed to play 10-man at ICC last year. I was talking to Tim Montresor actually just a few days before he passed, like 2-3 days. That was surreal. But I'd had him on the podcast, and we were talking about airgun designs and automags and their legalities in the mech division, because a lot of people believed that automags weren't legal in mech tournaments, right? Because of the RT trigger and whatnot. And so Tim and I were talking, and we were supposed to be doing a bunch of things together at ICC, and we were just shooting the breeze because he had so much passion, and I wish I got to know him better. Anyway, I told him that I'd never played 10-man, and he goes, all right, you're coming to ICC. I was already going to be there to play with Team Fox do a little bit of 5-man as an alternate. And he goes, I'm putting you on a 10-man team, but I'm not telling you who I'm going to do it with. And I was just like, okay, that's awesome. He goes, but you're going to like it. And I'm like, okay. I found out from his mom recently that he had secured a spot for me on the Philly All-Americans as an alternate to
Awesome.
suit up and put
cool.
Like, I can't imagine, like, that would have been just like the greatest thing ever.
Very cool. Yeah.
Like, well, I think if I had my choice and I would really love to see Aftershock or Iron Man, because they were always my favorites back in the day.
Mine too.
But there's nothing like the All-Americans are hands down one of the top 3-4 best teams that have ever played paintball.
Yeah, best programs for sure.
Yeah. So,
and the Gardeners always did a really, really good job of taking care of the players. I always really respected them for that.
Now, is there a team that you wish you'd played for, or you had an opportunity to play for but didn't get a chance to?
I would like to play for Dynasty.
Oh, really?
I played against them for so long. Yeah. So, Yosh played with us for a while, and Oliver played with us for a while. So we were pretty friendly with a lot of the guys on the team, and obviously kind of knew them as they were kind of coming up.
Right.
And just they were so successful. So just getting an idea of like the inside look of that would be really cool for me, just to see like what they do differently, what they like, what they don't like. Cause obviously we didn't see any of that because we were pushing the other way.
Right.
Other than that, I think the Russians, it would be fun to play for the Russians just because they're so good. But I don't think I'd like to fly to Russia and live in one of those little apartments. So, but yeah,
probably wouldn't let you carry.
Yeah, probably not. Probably would. Probably be like, yeah, you're fine. Take your AK and your vodka. You're good.
Somebody, and I'm not sure who it says, but somebody said Rich Telford shot an automag while playing with Black Sunday.
Very true. I did shoot an automatic, and when I was going over to Ironman, they wanted me to get rid of it, and I was like, "No, man, this gun is amazing." And I love my automag, and I was playing 5-man with the Ironman, and I was playing against Aftershock, and for the first time in my life, I made a good move, and I crawled right past all of them, and I came up, and that little wire inside my automatic barrel had broken. Ooh. And so I shredded a ball, got down, cleaned it out, shredded a ball, got down, cleaned it out, shredded a ball. Looked in there, saw the barrel, the wire was the wrong way, and I was like, oh man, there's literally nothing I can do to save this gun right now. Like I cannot win this game because I can't shoot these 5 dudes that I'm standing behind. Yeah, we'd have losing the game or tying them out or whatever. And I was like, all right, time for me to get a new gun.
The new Automags, that's one there. They've got like baldy tents in them and stuff. Yeah, and they take autococker barrels and whatnot. So.
The last Automag I had was I don't know, the black one. What was it? Who made all the automatic stuff back then? That was good. Like had a black machined aluminum body. I can't remember the name. Pro something, but it shot really, really well.
Oh, the micro, Micro Mag.
Yeah, That's what it was. Took regular barrels and stuff, and it had ball detents, and it shot fine.
Yeah.
Then I played against. We were practicing against the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly (GBD), and we were playing up in Mare Island, and it was a bunch of little stick piles, with just little holes in it. And all Saturday, I didn't get any kills. Like, I was so frustrated because I could see all the dudes. I just could never get a shot. I couldn't get a paintball in the holes. I borrowed someone's cocker Sunday, shot like 4 or 5 dudes. I was like, I'm going to play with this for a few more games. Shot a few more guys. I was like, thank you, Protein Products. Yeah, I had a Protein Products automatic. That's like, it was amazing. But then finally the Ironman got me shipped to the cocker.
And you never looked back?
No, I think I gave my automatic to my buddy.
Now, was there a learning curve to learn to pull that slide?
Well, certainly there was a learning curve because they gave me my first gun in a box of pieces. They're like, put this together and bring it to next practice. I got it together like 80%. I don't think that gun ever worked. The first event I played with it was like a 5-man wreck, and it blew up on me the very first game. The bolt locked back, so I couldn't get it. Like the ram locked back, so I couldn't get to play with it at all. And then eventually I got one that worked, and then it worked. It was pretty easy to get to know. I didn't short stroke a few times, but you get used to it pretty quickly.
That's how I bought most of my paintball guns. People had autocockers. They tinkered with them, and it was just like, just take it. Like,
hey, see if you can get this thing to work.
I'll give you $5.
when the Ironman won Bay City Masters in, I think, 91 or 92 shooting autocockers, they had a 33% fail rate. So they had 3.5 guns going down every single game. But
how many guns did they have?
Well, 10 guys on the team. So, but 3 guns, they figured 3 guns a game went down. Because back then, no one really knew how to make those things work. It was just, it was all hoses and air, and people were still scared just filling CO2 tanks.
Yeah, well, this is true. I actually have a couple of those really old autocockers, and I've built more than a few. I was so glad to see the shorter 3-ways and whatnot.
Short throws, yeah.
Oh man, I had so many questions for you, and I'm still geeking out a little bit. I know.
Well, I'm here.
I know we're just 2 paintballers and whatnot. But I've read so many of your articles, and
I heard that earlier. So you said you style your writing a little after me.
A little bit.
So you'll know you're writing the same way I wrote when they start threatening you to take away your paycheck.
Yeah. See, that's actually one of the things I learned from you.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I had my editor come to me. He's like, "Hey, man, they want me to pay you less, but they want you to write the same." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Because you're pissing off all the sponsors." And I was like, "Am I lying?" He's like, No, I want you to write exactly what you're writing. I'm just giving you the message I got to give you." I was like, "So we're good?" He's like, "Yeah, we're good, man." I'm like, "All right, cool. Thanks, Sam." Then like a year later, he comes back. He's like, "They're willing to pay me more if I pay you less." And I was like, "Well, if you pay me less, I'm going to quit." He's like, "That's what I figured. All right, keep doing what you're doing." I was like, "Thanks again, Sam. You're amazing."
All right, so we got Rob Walker here saying, "Don't cut this one short, keep going." So apparently the people watching the show are loving this.
Awesome.
Now,
thanks,
we
guys.
have a question here, and it says Facebook user, but I'm willing to bet that is Ray Gong. Sorry, not Ray Gong, Mark
E. Gong.
And he says, ask about his time with Quick Max. Oh, it actually says Gong after. There we go.
Yeah, my time with Quick Max was amazing.
So what's Quick Max? That I'm not familiar with.
So Quick Max was the team. So my buddy Rob Anderson, who was captain of Black Sunday, got a huge head and decided that he was too good for everybody. So him and his buddies were going to go start a new team. So they went off and got a new team. And then 3 or 4 of us from Black Sunday went and joined Quick Max with Billy Saransky, Mark, a bunch of other guys on the team, Mel, and just a real Opie, a really good, solid team. That's the team that ended up being the San Jose Diamonds.
That sounds like a stacked team. Yeah,
we won Bay City Masters, and then we won Nashville. So we won the only team to ever win back-to-back national events for the Masters like that. It was a really, really good, talented team. A lot of really good players came out of that team. But yeah, San Jose Diamonds.
All right, so it says ask about his time with Quick Max. Is there anything really cool happen? I mean, obviously winning is always cool.
Yeah, winning's always cool. I don't remember anything really cool happening with Quick Max. Quick Max was only maybe a season and a half lengthwise. Like we weren't there for all that long.
Right.
Things were going pretty quickly from team to team back then.
Now, when you say you don't remember, is that like deny everything, kind of don't remember.
No, it's like, like I have 1,000 memories of paintball, things that happen, crazy things that happen to paintball events, but nothing, stands out really for the Quick Max other than just, a good group of guys and having a good time. We got to practice over in Felton a lot, and that was kind of nice. But yeah, I mean, Black Sunday was a little bit more of a rougher crowd. I got to get my first start with Black Sunday because I was the 7th or 8th guy in the squad. I thought I was better than that, but I was the 7th or 8th guy in the squad. And the night before, all the guys went to a restaurant. Some guy tried to steal some lady's purse. They beat the guy up. Sheriff came, appreciated that they had done that, and then ran them. And 2 of the guys had warrants, and I went from the 7th guy to the 5th guy. Got my first start. So yeah, Black Sunday was a little bit rougher. Quick Max is actually just a good group of guys. Mel and those guys were just good dudes over in the San Jose area. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. Shot a lot of people.
That's
when we won
awesome.
Nashville. It was Sunday night, and it's a dry state. And we didn't understand that coming from California. So we just went from bar to liquor store to titty bar to bar. Like, where do you get the booze? Like, we just won the world championships. Where do you celebrate? You don't celebrate here on Sunday. Like, oh, cool. Thanks, man.
All right. So we got somebody here saying, never heard of you, and then love you, Rich. Now, somebody had said, welcome, what up, Dirk Gadbury? So I'm assuming that might be Dirk. But
Dirk's amazing. I love Dirk. Good guy from the old days.
He is. Well,
so, true story about Dirk. We'd been playing for about 2 years against each other. And I'd been, I thought I was holding my own pretty well. Like I thought, engagements, I was up on him. Got really pissed one event because one practice because I was 100% I shot him in the leg. Walked over and I'm like, I shot you in the leg, bro. He's like, no, you didn't. And he grabbed the hit with his hand and showed me his pant leg. And I was like, I guess you're right. I didn't shoot you. And then Greg Taylor walked over. He's like, open your hand up. Opens the hand up. He's got the big hit in his leg. But the funny part of the story is I'd been playing him for him about 2 years and he still didn't know my name. Had no idea who I was. Like I knew everything about him. I'd studied him meticulously, knew where he slept, the whole 9 yards. No idea who I was. Thanks, Dirk. Appreciate that, buddy. Good looking out.
All right, we got somebody here saying, now this I don't recognize, or since I don't recognize, but I don't understand. It says Andy Goslin, Rich, let me get a jersey. Now, is he asking for one of your jerseys, or is he giving you a jersey?
If he's giving me one, that'd be great. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. Unfortunately, I gave all my jerseys to John Dresser, and
yes, I saw that.
Yeah, he was really, really nice to do that. And if you're an old dude and you got a lot of cool jerseys out there and you don't want to deal with it, John Dresser is the man. He will take care of you and not screw you over like most people in paintball.
He's so good. I was just starting the podcast, and it was really, really early stages. And I was talking to John about, I forget what I was even talking to him about originally, but I told him I was rebuilding one of those Sly masks, the ones with the double strap.
Yeah.
And I said that the lenses were broken. I wondered if there was anywhere I could find some, because I'm just trying to rebuild this mask because it came with a bunch of other stuff. And I wasn't planning on selling it or anything. It was just, here's a perfectly functional, great mask. He sent me a bunch of lenses that he had, and the mask is now, my niece uses it. She wants to get into paintball, but unfortunately COVID stopped her this year, and she's in martial arts and stuff, but she really wants to play. So this mask got rebuilt. It was all because of John Dresser, and he barely knew me from a hole in the wall. I was just basically some guy that we chatted every now and then on Facebook. He's such a great guy.
Yeah. There's a group of guys, like 50, 60 dudes that have been kind of the same guys that have been doing the same stuff for the last 20 years in paintball. And if you've been around for that long and you've been in paintball for that long and you have a good reputation, then you're really, really good person.
Yeah. So, all right. So Andy says I was harassing Rich at ICPL about giving me a jersey. So apparently that's what it was all about.
Yeah. Sorry, Andy. I just don't have any jerseys. As I get more jerseys, I'll start stashing them again and I'll get you one. I only have 2 jerseys left. I think I have my Black Sunday jersey and my Aftershock jersey.
He didn't keep an Iron Man jersey? That surprises me.
No, I gave him all to John. I think I kept one. Other than I have my Ninja Squad jersey too, but that's it, man. Same thing. If I go in the garage and I move a box of something 4 or 5 times, I'm like, man, somebody else would enjoy this more than I would enjoy this.
I'm surprised you don't have just a few select things framed.
Yeah, I'm not that guy, man. My buddy Rowdy McDonald, I played with him on the Bob Long's Ironman. One of the best guys I've ever played with. Another Canadian. Okay. He played with All Americans after that. He showed me his trophy room with all his jerseys and guns, and I was like, "That's amazing." But I I had a garage full of karate tournaments. My trophies. My parents like, what do you want me to do with those? I was like, throw them away, man. I don't want those things. Just taking up dust in room. Same thing with like, boxes of paintball trophies. Like, I don't care about that stuff really. And jerseys, like, if somebody else would like it more than me, then more power to them, man. I'm not really into that stuff. I don't think I have any paintball stuff hanging up in my house at all. Now that I think about it, no, I don't think so. Like we all just kind of live paintball. We're in it all the time, so I don't feel that nostalgic need to have something hanging up. I guess I don't hate the people who do. I just don't.
I don't have anything. I don't have anything hanging up. I just happen to have stuff everywhere.
I've kind of moved all my stuff to a corner of the garage. I have a corner of the garage that has a lot of paintball stuff, but like, forever I had a field. And so, when kids are coming out and playing paintball and you have old paintball stuff you're not using anymore, they're coming up, it's a natural progression. You just give them that stuff. So I gave away more stuff than I ever kept. And the tiny amount of stuff that I did keep, I sent to John Dresser and he got rid of.
Yeah, I've given away so much.
Yeah,
like
it's good, man. Especially if you get it for free, then just share it, push it along, man.
Oh, and somebody says we both need pred jerseys hanging up.
That would be cool.
Well, I agree 100%. And I've been talking to Marcus, and Marcus is supposed to be sending something, but COVID happened, and so PredCam, I'm not going to say got put on the back burner, but it's COVID. Like, people aren't selling stuff.
Yeah,
but
tough.
Mike, if you want to see something cool, and actually you might appreciate this as well, I show this occasionally. So I don't know if you guys all know what that is. Obviously, it is a UK Predators
push goggles.
But this is not any set. This is the original prototype.
Nice.
This is the very first one that was sent to Marcus Davis, and Marcus had it sent to me by Twix and Johan 2 World Cups ago, and they gave it to me.
Very cool.
Now, the agreement is that it is not to be a wall hanger. It is supposed to be, I'm supposed to wear it when I play. But because of COVID, I really haven't had the opportunity to actually, but it's actually got Muke in it. So, and his name's on it. Muke is Marcus Davis's nickname on the Preds. Apparently, the Preds have this tradition that you have to get a nickname that you hate.
Sounds like a great tradition.
I'm wondering what Mike's nickname is, because yeah. So Mike, what is your tradition? What is your nickname that you hate?
I'm glad we didn't have any of those traditions. I don't want any hateful nicknames.
So, speaking of the UK Predators, and you were a long-time Ironman there for a while, like a long while. It is my understanding that the UK Predators and he's called Tubbs. There we go. All right, Tubbs it is.
It is.
It's my understanding the UK Predators and the Ironmen used to play a lot of pranks on each other because you guys had a lot of respect for each other. And I believe Marcus actually played for the Ironmen a couple times at different events. Now, I heard about a whole bunch of crickets being released in the UK Predators. Is there any of the pranks that you can talk about?
The pranks between those guys and the UK Predators was a little before me. I was around, but I wasn't going over to those events.
Okay.
The worst pranks were All-Americans and bushwhackers, like the toothpaste in the butt and the poop on the pillows. Those were not fun games. Not fun games. I'm glad I didn't have to deal with any of that stuff.
I'm sorry, which 2 teams was this again?
Bushwhackers and the All-Americans.
Oh, yeah. Oh, somebody says good evening. Good evening to you, James.
Hey, Jimmy. How you doing, brother? One of the best old school Ironman players ever. Underrated. Super solid guy on a tape.
Oh, yeah?
Super solid.
Awesome. So I'm sorry, you basically just turned my brain into an Etch-a-Sketch. I just got to start over.
So Ron Kilborn, after that incident, for the rest of his life, brought a brand new toothbrush to use every single day of every single tournament he ever played again. Because someone took his toothbrush, put it in their butt, and took a picture, and then put it back on the sink for him. Yeah, no fun. No fun. Guys, you're crossing the line. Way
Yeah,
past crossing the line.
that totally crosses a line. I mean, I wasn't involved, so I'm laughing, but
Yeah.
I would be livid.
Yeah. So is Ron.
Oh. All right. Somebody just asked who that was, and Rich is not going to say because
Yeah.
Rich is cool like that.
Yeah. But he did poop on whoever did its pillow. Good times. Good times. Classy times.
I remember food fights in
we used to do elevator wrestling, especially in Europe. You get in a tiny little elevator that could barely fit 7-8 guys, and then you just start beating the hell out of whoever's in the middle, try to break the elevator between floors. It was a blast.
I remember food fights in restaurants and having to run before the sheriffs came. I remember paintball gun fights in hotel hallways, but
Van to van.
Pardon?
Van to van. I remember Brian Benini hanging outside down, driving through Gettysburg, shooting from one van to another van.
Good times. Definitely not paintball's prouder moment.
Yeah, well, if you did the stuff back then, if you did that stuff now, you'd probably get in a lot of trouble. Like we got pulled over 2 or 3 times, guns out on us, just playing car tag.
Right.
Or, we car tag, grab Oliver, throw him in the van. Someone reported that we kidnapped him. Like 6 cop cars roll up, guns out. Like, did you kidnap somebody? Like, no. I mean, we did grab him. It did look like we kidnapped him, but he's actually our friend.
Awesome. All right, so Randy says, hey, and
what's up, Randy?
We also have Facebook user saying you inspired him so much during the excessive days and just wanted to say thank you. I'm not sure who.
Thank you, brother.
I'm not sure who Facebook user that is, so make sure you identify yourself, but I agree with you 100%. All right, so what was one of the favorite, or one of the most articles that was the most controversial that you wrote? Like, is there anything that stands out article wise? Because one of the things you did when you write is you wrote so many strong opinions. Like, you just had these moments of clarity that just blew me away. It was like, oh, that makes sense. And
yeah, it was the thing I really liked about the writing was all the critical thinking that you had to do in order to come up with those, ideas. I mean, I try not to be critical, really. Obviously, I come off that way, but I just talk like the way we talk to each other and try to write that way. And the stuff I was talking about was all the stuff that we would kind of talk about in our inner circles, but then nobody would really talk about outside of those inner circles, Right. And so I would criticize the PSP sometimes. And then Lane Wright, who's a friend of mine, came up to me once and he's like, dude, what are you criticizing the PSP for all the time? And I was like, because you guys are messing up, here and there or whatever. I was like, if you guys are perfect, then I'd be like, hey man, these guys are perfect, but like, you're not perfect. So like, I'm, pointing out those flaws. I think what you're doing is amazing, but it could be better. And then, he's like, well, I don't like it, but sometimes I read that and he's like, you're 100% right. Sometimes we mess up and then, I read it and it makes sense and we fix it. And sometimes I totally disagree. But yeah, not really controversial, just something, that people don't want to talk about.
Right. I got a similar thing happened recently. I had a few people criticize me. Obviously,
that means you're doing something right. If no one's criticizing you, then you're not pushing it enough.
Thank you. Obviously, you're aware of the controversy that's going on right now in mechanical paintball with the gun race that's starting.
Yeah, that's the only time that I think the rate cap should be the rate cap, right? Like mechanical is a mechanical. I don't know how fast you can shoot an autococker, but if that's 5.5, then that should be the cap. Just because you can make a mechanical gun shoot 13 balls a second, it's not nobody wants to play that game anymore. Like everyone wants to play paintball. They don't want to see who. If you suck and you need to shoot faster, just get better at paintball.
Right. So with the mechanical, some of the new guns, a guy called me up and he said his buddy was sustaining 16 balls a second on the new CS2 mechanical, right? And that's mind blowing because it's a mechanical gun going that fast. And I'm both ticked and impressed.
Yeah, it's super. Like 20 years ago, that would have been fucking amazing, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is incredible. But now, what's the point?
If that's the case, electronic guns wouldn't have even ever existed.
If mechanical is supposed to be slow, autococker, automatic based, then why would you just try to make a fast gun for that? I get, wanting to sell guns, and I understand the cool technology part of it, But to me, it's like if you're going to do that, then why have rate cap at all? Like, why have
Right.
mechanical at all? If you're going to shoot 16 balls a second, what's the point?
Right. Now, it's only certain people that can do that because not everybody can wiggle that finger that fast.
Yeah, but even if you're working at 10 or 11 balls a second, most of the time, that's twice as fast as the guy with the cocker.
Right. So
that's a significant advantage.
So I wrote an article, and this is prior to all this, and I'm going to state it again because I firmly believe it. I think that for mechanical events, we should go back to gravity-fed loaders. Now,
yeah, I think that's the easiest way.
When I say gravity-fed, I mean you can still have paddles, as long as there's
Revy,
nothing.
Baby, Revy.
Exactly, as long as there's nothing that covers the hole to force the paint down. Because you pop it open, you can look at it, you can see if it was modified in any way. And gravity will only allow paint to feed if it's in a straight tube at 11 balls a second, maximum.
Now I put a Revy on a fast gun because it was so much lighter. I was like, man, if I can make this shoot 10.5 consistently, I'm gonna start using this loader because it's so much lighter than my other loader. My snap is really quick.
Right.
But you can never get that thing to shoot over 8 balls a second consistently.
No.
And I was like, this is perfect for mechanical. That's all you need to do is put a Revy on everybody's gun, and your 16 ball a second gun's still going to shoot 8 balls a second.
Exactly. That's my argument. The only thing
that's the easiest fix.
Yeah. And that's what I think. But apparently a lot of people are saying, well, you can't do that because people invested so much money into loaders and companies are unhappy. And it's like, you know what?
They don't have to play.
You could just have events that are mechanical that use this. So I say that there should be a classical loader.
So if you want to use your Virtue loader, that's fine. Virtue, just make a Revy.
Right? Well, yeah, exactly. You can have agitators. It's just as long as there's nothing that covers the hole, and there's no way that it actually forces the paint into the hole.
Yeah, as long as it won't sustain over like 7 balls a second, then however you design it is however you design it.
Right. And markers or things like the hoppers like that will cost like $30-$40. And so it doesn't matter what gun you have. Like you could have a brand new CS2 set at NXL settings, the whole bit. It's still only going to shoot 8 balls a second maximum.
Yeah. And then all those manufacturers would get an opportunity to make a new product and make good money on a new product.
Exactly. And hydro dip them. Make them cool. So what new products are you excited about?
Honestly, I'm kind of disappointed in new products / paintball over the last couple of years. It's kind of gotten away from, in the beginning, there was so much money coming in that there was constantly new, you go to World Cup and your mind would be blown. Oh my God, I can't believe, they got this, they got this, they got this. And it was always different, always interesting. And now it's just kind of about survival mode, like there's not a lot of companies out there making a bunch of new innovative products. They're just trying to make the most basic stuff that they can just to kind of keep going. And I hope that either some money comes back into paintball or some, ingenuity or something, and they come out with some cool new products, because I haven't seen anything significantly cool or significantly different in a decent amount of time.
Now, what kind of masks do you like to wear when you play?
JTs.
Still JT?
I like the push goggles too. Push are super comfortable. The lenses are amazing. Yeah. I got buddies down there. Yeah, they take really good care of me. But yeah, I love the push goggles. I love the JT lenses and JT goggles. Always going to be a fan of those. They're just so lightweight and so easy and so basic. Hard to not go wrong with JTs. But
see,
JT and push.
I always thought JTs felt heavy on my face.
Really?
So the reason why
regular JT Proplex?
I haven't tried one of the newer ones, but I'm really excited with my pushes.
Yeah, pushes.
Brian, when I started playing with Dynasty and stuff, I said, Brian, I need a new mask. And he sent me this out. So I'm super excited just to have.
Yeah. Have you tried those new lenses, those new yellow to black fade ones?
No, they haven't sent them to me yet.
Amazing. It reminds me of the old JTs, just much more clear and much more bright.
Yeah, I want to try it, and I want to try the I really want to get a pair of the HDE with the gold.
Yeah, the rose gold are pretty amazing too. Yeah.
Oh, I got one person here says, I want me one of those Rich Telford autographed chin protectors. The beard. Okay, dude, you got
it's easy. All you got to do is not shave for 2 or 3 months.
I buzz mine down.
Yeah.
Plus, I like my skunk stripe.
Yeah, I just don't like to shave. And my wife doesn't really mind, so I just let it go. It gets hot here in the summer, so it gets up to like 115. And the first day that I work out and the sweat like comes up and hits me in the face, I usually shave the beard in the summer and just grow it back out in the winter.
Yeah, well, I just get itchy, so I just have the trimmers and I just keep knocking it down so it doesn't get too long. Now, you've got a field. We got to talk about your field a little bit.
I actually just sold my field.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Well, that sucks. I mean, good for you, but
yeah, worked out okay.
Well, I was really looking forward to coming out because you did the North
you
versus
can still
South
come
game.
out. Yeah, I know the guys who own it, and I still go out there all the time. So come on out. We'll play some paintball. And my big game I usually do up in Sacramento at a big field, not at my field. So
right,
that'll still be good too.
Oh, okay. So when you have the big games, then it wasn't that your field? Because I thought it was at your field.
No, I've got small fields. It's only 12, 15 acres. It's got 4 or 5 hyperball fields and a really small rec field. There was a field up in Sacramento with about 600 acres of just rolling trees and oak trees and just beautiful fields. So we've used that the last few years.
So what are you doing in paintball now? Like, have you got, because you're not with GI Sports and you've sold your field. Like, are you going to become a promoter?
No. I'll hopefully continue to do the Go Sport stuff. I kind of like to commentate and coach. Kind of like to do those two things. I enjoy the commentating. It's fun. It's kind of challenging. And I kind of want to try to build a big pro program again.
Right.
Just got to wait for the right opportunity. Try to work that out. But I like to, do those two things in paintball and then just play a little bit and practice a little bit and not take it too seriously.
All right. So I gotta back you up a little bit here.
Okay,
you'd like to start a pro program. Does it mean you want to start a new team?
Either a new team or a new or take over another team that's going on, and just kind of develop that team. I want to try to build a program where it's not, like everything we do is kind of random and kind of case by case. I want to try to build like a complete program, like, how do you pick up a new player? How do you decide who you need to pick up and why you pick up those guys, and how do you bring those guys in to make those guys successful? What's a productive practice look 6 months out from an event, compared to 3 months out from an event? How do you get players to be positional players, and just kind of the whole thing that we do, but just in a succinct fashion so that we can kind of build on that success.
Okay, so I'm following you to a point. When you say program, are you talking Go Sports program that's all yours? Are you talking a program like an actual sporting program where you're going to actually start a sport, or a combination of the two?
I haven't really defined it yet. To me right now, to be a successful professional paintball program, you need to have a strong pro team, but you also need to have a good 2 or 3 good divisional teams to try to feed that program. So I think you need like a 4 or 5 team probably base to work out of to try to build into one good program, or into possibly split that into 2 good programs. But not just try to just build a pro team unless you've got a ton of money is really, really challenging. If you want to be successful, anybody can play pro paintball. But if you want to be one of the top 2 or 3 teams, it's very, very challenging to do that. And those guys are spending a ton of money. So if you want to do it without spending that much money, you got to kind of get creative and put together kind of a full fruit program, I think.
Cool. Well, suggestion, just something to chew on, and you can talk to me after or off camera and whatnot. But the Ali Remembered Foundation has a large stable of amateur teams, and we have a lot to do with Dynasty, Destiny.
Destiny. Yep.
And they've got like 16 plus teams and stuff. So if you ever want to work out or help out with the Ali Remembered Foundation and whatnot, you could use some of our players as a stable because it just keeps growing.
Good.
And I know Andy would love to have you. He's a good friend of Yosh, Rao. Cool. I mean, you guys know a lot of the same people, so.
Very cool.
Oh, Kiko's saying hello.
What's up, Kiko? How you doing? Good to see you.
He's a funny guy. I love him. I can only watch his stuff so much because sometimes it goes off paintball. I try to stay focused on paintball, but man, I love that guy. Yeah, he's just the greatest.
Good people.
Yeah. See, now I'm all stuck on you starting a paintball team or taking over a paintball team and who it would be. And I know you can't talk about it because you haven't got it fully figured out. But
yeah, I coach a little here, a little there. I do some clinics there and there, but I also talk to a lot of people on a lot of different programs. Because we've all kind of been through the same thing and try to help out and give us some advice here and there. So hopefully I can work it out with 1 or 2 or 3 of those teams and try to tie something together that is successful for them and successful for me as well.
That's awesome. Now I know that Quake, they won Vegas in their division, they're going through some issues with regard to, and they're looking for a coach bad, but they're Southern California and you're Northern California. Just throwing that out there because they're a wild group of guys and great people, and
cool.
You know, they like I said, they won Vegas, so they got a good core.
They're good at paintball.
Yeah. But sorry, I'm gonna change subject here for a second.
That's okay,
man. Do you have anything changing the subject, but still kind of on it? Do you do anything with Excessive anymore? Because I know they're still around. Like, are you still involved with that organization at all?
Not a ton. There's probably 4 or 5 or 6 kids on the team that I played with a little bit or coached a little bit. So I really like and try to watch and see how well they do. And there's a lot of talent on there, but it's tough. It's I've got kind of a hard-nosed work ethic kind of grind, get there early, stay late. And
right.
Although there's a lot of talented guys in that program, there's not a lot of guys who want to get there early and stay late. So
right.
We kind of clash in that situation. So wherever I can help them and support them, I do. Whenever I can run a practice for them or run some drills against them, I do that just to help them and help us. But like overall coaching is it's not a great fit.
Right. And that's fine. I just wondered, like, who owns Excessive now? Is that like, I just wonder if you still were a big part of that, like maybe in the background or from like
more in the background. Yeah.
But you're still involved with. That's awesome.
Yeah. And great program, great guys.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, we've been going for an hour and a half, and wow. I got to be honest with you. I could hold you on here for another 2-3 hours.
Well, just hit me up again in a few months and I'll jump back on, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, anytime.
I'm gonna move mountains to try to be at ICC. So
awesome. I will. I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna do whatever I can to try to be there.
I have no idea who I'm gonna plan for. Jen Montresor said she's gonna try to stick me on a 10-man team, so I can at least try 10-man once.
Cool. If not, we'll sneak you in somewhere.
Awesome. See, now you got me blushing.
Yeah, anytime, man. Just let me know.
All right. So is there anybody you want to give a shout out to or a thank you to, or just
Fred Schultz? He was on here early. Mark Gong, Mike Baird, Dirk Gadbury, all the guys that were on here that helped me along the way, man. You only get to be super successful if you have a lot of support from everyone around you, and it's not about you. It's about all the support you get from those people. So I appreciate everybody that helped me get here.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I've never won a single podium in my life. Not first, not second, not third. Never won anything. I was always bouncing from team to team to team as people needed me, but I never found a home. So I concur wholeheartedly. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you don't have a good home, you're never going to win. It's this team sport.
That's right.
All right, my friend. I'm going to let you go.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, man.
Dude. Thank you so much for being on the show. Like I said,
anytime.
You were in my top 5 people I most wanted to talk to. So
thank you. I appreciate it.
I can't wait to talk to you again.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. That was my show for tonight. And I'm still blown away. I think that I'm not kidding. I have idolized that guy, been reading in the magazines, all that for years and years and years, like decades, literally. And I love watching what he does on Go Sports, and I love reading his articles. If you get the chance, go back into some of the old magazines, especially I believe Paint. And he wrote some of the best, most insightful articles you'll ever want to read. Yeah, definitely one of the best captains that paintball's ever seen. So I can't thank him enough. Again, thanks to all my sponsors, especially Valken. Remember that, by the way, if you go to valken.com, valken.ca, or valken.eu, use my discount code, which is Maguire10, MAGUIRE 10, and you get 10% off your purchase. Make sure you tell all your friends, because if you guys can get a discount, then save money, because everybody needs pods, apparently, right? So that's it for me tonight, guys. Oh, we got people saying awesome show. Thank you so much. Kevin Camacho, thanks for chiming in. Mike, it was glad to hear from you from England and the UK Predators. But that's my show for tonight, guys. Keep your paint in your eye, everybody. And as always, play with passion. See you all in a week. Ciao.